Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the third installment of E24 Maintenance and Fun. So, today's episode, we are doing trans and diff fluid, fuel filter, and that's pretty much it. And then we're going to drive it. We're going to see what she drives like. I'm going to try to get this done before the sun goes down. May not be possible. I got the car level on jack stands, and we are ready to dive in. So I got my Redline products here. Redline MTL GL4 for the trans, Redline 75W90 for the diff. That is pretty much the OEM specs that she wants. So we're ready to go. Let's get under there. Alright, so always start with the fill plug, just in case, because if you can't get the fill plug out and you drain your fluid, you're screwed. Alright, so nothing's coming out, so means it's a little low because it should have a little bit of fluid drip out, but that's expected. It's been a while, I'm sure. Although the previous owner commented on one of my videos, he found me on here, said there's Redline in the trans, which is cool, but I don't know when that was done. I believe I have a record of it, but so long ago probably, and I didn't take the time to dig and find it. But let's see what this stuff looks like. Actually looks really good. Cool. Well, probably didn't need to do trans fluid, but doesn't hurt. It's always good to do it anyway. So now I'm going to refit this drain plug, and then we're going to pump some fresh Redline in this thing. Now time to pump. As you guys know, we got our little hand pump. Alright, so let's get this up in there. So you go until you overflow, so I will see you guys many minutes from now.
A few moments later.
Alrighty, and we're there. Alright. So that's job done on the trans. Now we move on to the diff. Alright, it's really difficult to get a good angle of this, so you guys are going to have to watch me from here. Maybe you'll be able to see something drip. Easy peasy. Oh yeah. That is some diff fluid right there. Some thick, old, dark shit. But it doesn't look too bad. While we're waiting for this diff to finish draining, I'm going to get started on the fuel filter, sitting right here. Just like the E12 location, but the filter's a little bit different than the E12, so it changed a little bit. Really difficult to get to it, but I'm just going to go ahead and hammer this out. Kind of hard to get the camera in there, so bear with me. And there we go. New fuel filter is in, all tightened up. Diff's about done draining, so time to put the diff plug back in and fill this thing up, and then we are done. We're going to lower this thing on the ground and take it for a spin. If this storm holds off, it looks like it's about to start storming. And we pump. Same thing as the trans, you pump until it leaks out. And that's a job done on the diff. So now while the car's in the air, I'm going to start it, drive it, you know, put it in gear, go through the gears, check, make sure nothing's leaking. Then we're going to lower it, and we're taking this thing for a drive. Alright, let's fire this thing up. We're going to have to get fuel pressure. And I have no gas in this. Should probably go put some gas in it, huh? We're almost there. There we go. Alright. Let's see if she goes into gear. Yes, she does. let's get the wheels spinning. Let's make sure we got no horrible noises. Alrighty. She's rolling. See if she shifts flawlessly. No noises, smooth shifts. I'd say she's good, so I'll let it chill here for a little bit. Up, and you know, I'll just sit in third for a couple seconds, and then get under there and make sure nothing's leaking. So last night started storming, and I actually ran into an issue. I started it up and I was looking for leaks, and I almost forgot to check it, but I forgot to check the fuel pump, or the fuel filter, and surely enough, that little short line that I was talking about that looked new was leaking on both ends. The one that goes into the filter, or that goes from the filter to the hard line back to the tank, I believe, or no, actually to the engine. So good thing I caught that, because I was seeping pretty good. So I replaced that with brand new line, took care of that. But other than that, I looked over everything else and she's good to go. So let's take this thing for a spin, shall we? First drive post lots of maintenance. I cut that because I thought I saw a big puddle, but it was just a stain on the cardboard that I was parked on from my work prior. I have absolutely no gas. Like, I'm literally well into the reserve. I need to like go to a gas station right now. I'm gonna I'm gonna break down on the side of the road, and that would be a really crappy first drive. And that's actually funny because I've never run out of gas in a car except for once. And it was in my old red E24 that you guys don't know about because this was way before the YouTube days. But I had an E24 that I was driving and I fixed it up a little bit, and I was being stupid and seeing if I could get like to school or something. And I was on my way home, I was literally down the street, and she gave out on me. The gas that's in here that's been running on could be very old gas, like very old gas. I don't know how often the guy drove it, you know, so that full tank that I bought it with could have been in there for months. Probably was in there for months, not years. Obviously, it's not like the E12 with the gas tank that was completely rusted and I had to fully redo it. That was painful, but I'm sure the M30 would like some fresh premium. Well, it only really needs 89, but I think I'll give her some 93, I think. So far, so good. I haven't driven this car in a while. I kind of forgot how it drove. I know it drove good, and I mean, it still drives damn good, and especially just the comfort in my head knowing that it's got all new fluids and that it's got all new, you know, gaskets and spark components. And I'm honestly really shocked that this thing drove half as good as it did, considering the cap and the rotor were completely corroded and like worn out. And that's pretty much it. I mean, everything else I did was more so gasket stuff and whatever, preventative, like, you know, water pump thermostats. Like, the temps are great, like it sits nice and low. And I do notice that prior I would drive it and it would actually kind of climb sitting. Now, I mean, I had it idling in the garage for a long time and it's perfectly good. This thing pulling right along, nice and smooth. I mean, this is truly the smoothest BMW. Like, I think it's gotta be this. I was gonna say this was the oldest BMW. It's gotta be the smoothest BMW I've ever driven. I mean, this thing feels amazing. Like, it is comfortable and it's tight and it's straight. It's like every BMW I've ever had is pulling on you. That every bushing is completely shot. This thing is beautiful. Like, she is full of new petrol. So now I can go rip around the back roads, not worry about breaking down. Well, I don't know, it's an old BMW, so I mean, I think that's always kind of on the mind, but don't worry about running out of gas. So let's see, first gear all the way to red line. Second gear all the way to red line. Oh man. Third all the way to red line? Nope, I'm gonna back out. Oh man, all right. I mean, as I said in the first video, she pulled strong, but she pulls very strong now. Feels very good. I mean, all the way to red line, no stutters at all. Like, I've had a lot of M30s. They really, doesn't matter how much stuff you do to it, they always kind of stutter. They're never like as happy as you feel like they should be, ever. But this one, with her little 90,000 miles and the oil squirters retightened, so I don't have to worry about that. That's also nice. Runs, I mean, freaking phenomenal. I mean, I don't think I've ever had an M30 that the valves are actually in adjustment, so that's nice. I don't think I've had an M30 that did a lot of things that were as nice as this, but this is a damn good M30 and a damn good car, and the way this car drives really speaks to the mileage. I mean, there's no denying this is a 90,000 mile car. It feels fantastic. My E12 also felt very solid, but the lack of maintenance on it, and you know, sitting 20 years, they really don't like that, and because of that, there was really a lot of what can I say, like, it wasn't as great as it could be because of all the sitting, and you know, I probably should have adjusted the valves and this and that, but that's besides the fact. This thing runs like a champion. I mean, it's obviously not a fun or fast car. Well, it's not a fast car, it's a fun car, but it's not fast. It moves, it feels good under its own weight, but it's not, you know, a rocket ship as you'd expect. I mean, no one expects that with a 30 or a 40, not even 30, this is a 40-year-old BMW. But like, I mean, she's just happy running through the revs, just absolutely happy. Gets up to speed, easy as can be, shifts like butter, and it's crisp. Like, the shifts are crisp. There is no play in this gearbox. Like, it's, again, definitely a 90,000 mile gearbox. It's happy. The odometer clicks over. I don't know if I touched on that. I probably did in the intro video, but just in case you guys think that I'm telling you 90K and it's the odometer stopped 20 years ago, it's not the case. The odometer clicks over. The trip odometer clicks over. You just see we're going 22.5. Now we're at 22.6. Just a dream. Let's do some corners in this thing, just for fun. These are my corner roads, and I'm usually ripping this in an M3 or a 500 horsepower E34, 420, not 5, but 500 crank. Definitely a nice tour. I mean, this is fun. It's a fun handling car. It's not like a sports car with coilovers and stuff like that, but I can kind of appreciate why, like, people leave these stock and just drive them. Like, the people that tour these cars, meaning the road trips and the curvy roads, and I've always kind of thought to myself, how could you have fun in a stock suspension car, stock power car? You can. And like, I guess just because I never had one that was dialed in or set up nice, but man, this thing is great. It's a ton of fun to drive. I mean, the stopping power that these early model brakes have are crazy too. Like, these stop really good. If you didn't know, the E12 base cars, because the E12 had the quad piston front rotors, or front calipers, that they shared them with the Ferraris of that decade. But like, they got some good stopping power. So if you go over to Evergreen Z3 or a Fern, I don't know. But so if you go over to an E28 based 635, you actually lose stopping power. Not that either of them have enough power to really feel like, oh, I need better brakes, but regardless, you get the better brakes with the early model. So that's one plus to an early model. You get some better brakes, which are also picky and expensive and scary. That's why I have not touched them. I refuse to touch them because after what happened with my E12. No, this is a very solid car, and I'm very hyped about this. Like I said in the intro, it wasn't really all that much of a project, meaning like it wasn't like it was sitting, and that's more fun to me, doing like the cars that like you really have to go through. But it's nice to not have to do that and spend thousands of dollars to get the car running, because it's a lot of work, and things go really wrong with those cars because, you know, whatever it may be, like a cooling system or a fuel system that sat for a decade, they get all corroded and rusted, and oh my god, it's a disaster. Like this car alone, the thermostat and the water pump were so old that it was all like corroded and stuff. And not corroded, but like just the kind of like corrosion, I don't know, just like on the O-ring of the thermostat and stuff. It was just a pain in the ass cleaning, and the water pump surface, the old gasket stuck because it was so old. And that's just a flaw with these old cars, all the paper gaskets they use. They're absolutely garbage. If you don't use RTV on everything, they're gonna leak. That's just the way it is, you know. Like the M50s use more rubber stuff. The oil pan gaskets they're like steel with like the rubber kind of ring. Those are really nice. These paper ones are junk. And so if you're watching this, always RTV the whole thing, both surfaces. I mean, honestly, you're better off. I did a water pump on an M30 before, and it leaked on me because I didn't use water pump RTV. I used either no RTV or I used like oil RTV, and it just did not work for me. That was an M20, not an M30. But that's just a little word of advice. But I mean, otherwise, I'd call this a job well done. She's driving and handling fantastic. I could not be happier with this car. I now have a beautiful cruiser E24 here, and I'm very stoked about that. Just in time for winter, of course. So again, like I said in the first video, or maybe I didn't, we'll see what the future of this car holds. It was a short series. It was only, what, 3-4 videos. I wish it was more. I guess 5. But whatever, you know, it was a nice car to start with, and that's what I wanted, was a nice car. But I'm kind of sitting here thinking I don't need a car this nice, because I've always wanted a lowered E24, and this just is not the car to do it. And I've talked about this before, so you know, I'll probably, for that reason, I honestly will probably let this go, just because to store it all winter, and it's just, I don't think it's the smartest thing. I lost a garage spot, freaking coming to a dead stop on a 55-mile-an-hour road. This is brilliant, because people can't drive around bikers. Stupid. But anyway, I would say that concludes this car. Will I make more videos on it? Yeah, I'll probably find stuff to make, but for now, the maintenance stuff, we're all done. This car really doesn't need anything else. There's no point in wasting any money doing anything else like that, so we'll keep her as she is. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these couple videos. I'm on the hunt for some old BMW projects, especially for the winter, so stay tuned. We got more to come here, because again, I'm sorry this is kind of a shorter series, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.